Welcome to Beginner Friends. This is my YouTube channel where I share my experiences as a beginner in various fields. In this video, I am sharing some finishing touches and tips. This is one of the most important tools that I use for repairing mistakes on my dot mandala. As you can see in this keychain, these two dots got smudged because perhaps something fell on the keychain while the paint was still wet, or my hand touched it, or it fell upside down, or whatever reasons. So once the paint dries up completely, say after 12 to 24 hours, I just peel it out with the help of this sharp knife and repaint that part. Of course, one has to be very careful while peeling it out. As this is a keychain, the dots are very small. The swooshes are still smaller. So one has to be very, very careful in removing the smudged parts or sometimes even the surrounding parts and repaint that part. Repainting again also has to be done very carefully because the dot sizes have to match. It's better to begin with a smaller dot and then slightly make it to the size compared to the other dots in the same circle so that we don't end up making one more mistake and wait again for another 24 hours to peel out the uh, dot if it comes larger than the other dots in the circle. I'm now making those tiny swooshes. Sometimes you also need to reapply the base paint before you do the repainting, but most of the time in my case, I tend to paint the entire surface without leaving much gaps between dots or the swooshes. So I don't have to apply in such cases a base coat because no base is visible. Most of the time, the base is not visible at all. It is covered with the paint. Therefore, I don't have to do the base paint in such designs. So this is done now. Another important tool is an eraser. When we draw the guidelines using a regular lead pencil, then those lines can be wiped out after finishing the painting with the help of an eraser. Of course, on this side of the keychain, I did not do any painting. Initially, I thought of doing some painting, but decided to go with the simple design using my QR code of the YouTube channel there. So these lines are not needed, so I'm wiping them out. One needs to carefully check each keychain, each design to see if any of the pencil marks uh, or the guidelines are visible. And if they are visible, they need to be wiped out. If it is with a lead pencil, it can be erased with an eraser. If it is done with a charcoal pencil, it can be wiped with a wet cloth. And if you have drawn those lines using a dotting tool or a sharp object, then you are actually scraping some base paint out of it. And in such cases, there's nothing that can be done. So The only wise thing to do is to paint on the guideline itself while you are doing the design so that the guideline becomes invisible, hidden under the paint. This is the last batch of about 22 keychains out of total 120 MDF bases that I purchased over a period of time. And with this, I'm finishing this last batch, largely contains beautiful earth color combinations, barring a few which I have done for some children in pastel colors and bright blue color. And here I am. Hi. And these are the beauties. I do hope this project is giving inspiration to some of the beginners in Dot Mandala. I will be very happy if you copy any of these designs and use it in your own creations. Thank you.